The 90-90-90 rule. It is the grim reaper of the trading industry. It states that 90% of retail traders will lose 90% of their money within their first 90 days. Think about that for a second. Almost everyone who steps into this arena, full of hope and dreams of financial freedom, ends up walking away with nothing but regret. But why? Why is it that you can give two people the exact same strategy, the exact same chart, and even the exact same $100 starting balance, and one will go bankrupt in a week while the other builds a fortune over a decade? Most people think the answer is capital. They tell themselves, if I just had $10,000, I wouldn't be so stressed. If I had a bigger cushion, I could trade properly. That is the single biggest lie you can tell yourself. It is a comforting lie, but it is fatal. The market does not care how much money you have. If you cannot manage $100 with the discipline of a hedge fund manager, you will blow $100,000 just as fast, actually, probably faster. The difference isn't the money. The difference is the software running in your head. It is the mindset. Over the next 30 minutes, we are going to dismantle the amateur mind. We are going to strip away the bad habits, the desperate need for action, and the ego that is currently destroying your potential. We are going to replace it with the mindset of the professional, the specific psychological framework that turns small accounts into millions. We aren't talking about moving averages today. We aren't talking about support and resistance lines. We are talking about something much harder to master. We are talking about you. If you are serious about this, if you are actually done with gambling and ready to start building, then shut off the distractions. This is the conversation that changes everything. Let's begin with the concept of the seed. When you start with a small account, let's say $100 or $500, you are psychologically disadvantaged from day one. You look at your balance and you look at your bills. You see a disconnect. You think, I need to make rent, I need to buy a car. And you look at that $100 and realize that a sensible 2% return is only $2. $2 doesn't buy freedom. $2 doesn't even buy a coffee. So what do? You over-leverage. You over-trade. You try to force that $100 to act like $10,000. You treat the market like a slot machine because you feel a desperate need to grow fast. You are trying to sprint a marathon, and you collapse before you even reach the first mile marker. To turn $100 into a fortune, you have to fundamentally change your relationship with money. You have to stop viewing that $100 as purchasing power. You cannot view it as money you can spend. You have to view it as a seed. If you were a farmer and you had one single precious seed, would you eat it? No, that would be foolish. Would you dig it up every 5 minutes to see if it's growing? No, you would kill it. You would plant it, water it, and protect it with your life. Your small account is that seed. The goal right now is not to get rich. The goal is to perfect the process of growth. Because here is the secret that the millionaires know. The skill required to turn $100 into $110 is the exact same skill required to turn $1 million into $1,100,000. The zeros change, but the behavior stays the same. If you can't protect the seed, you will never manage the harvest. So how do we protect it? We adopt the persona of the lion. In the trading world, there are two types of animals. There are the grazers, the gazelles, the nervous prey animals that are constantly twitching, running at the slightest noise, always active, always burning energy. And then there is the lion. The lion is the ultimate model for a profitable trader. Think about how a lion operates in the wild. It does not run around the savannah chasing every bird, every rabbit, and every insect it sees. If a lion did that, it would burn more calories than it consumes. It would starve to death. Instead, the lion does something that is incredibly difficult for human beings to do. It waits. It finds a spot in the tall grass. It blends in. It stays perfectly still. It watches the herd. It watches the chaos. It waits for hours, sometimes days. It is preserving its capital, its energy.
It is waiting for the perfect asymmetry. It waits for the prey that is weak, the prey that has stumbled, the prey that has wandered too close. Only when the odds are overwhelmingly in the lion's favor does it strike. And when it strikes, it doesn't hesitate. It is precise, lethal, and efficient. Now, compare that to your trading history. Are you the lion, or are you the anxious gazelle? Most traders with small accounts are the gazelle. You open the charts and you feel a need to do something. Oh, the price is moving up. I need to buy. Oh, no, it's dropping. I need to sell. Elon Musk tweeted, I need to get in. You are chasing noise. You are afraid of missing out. You feel that if you aren't in a trade, you are not working. You treat the market like an entertainment center that requires a coin every 5 minutes. This is why you lose. The millionaire mindset is defined by ruthless patience. This is the hardest skill you will ever learn. Can you sit in front of your computer for 4 hours, watch the market move, watch other people celebrating gains, and do absolutely nothing because your specific criteria were not met? If the answer is no, you are gambling. Cash is a position. Being out of the market is an active, strategic choice. When you are sitting on your hands, you are not lazy. You are a sniper waiting for the target to walk into the crosshairs. You are the lion in the tall grass. You have a small account. You cannot afford a 50-50 trade. You cannot afford to guess. You need to wait for the setup that is so clear, so obvious, that it feels like the money is lying in the corner waiting for you to pick it up. If that setup doesn't happen today, you don't trade today. You close the laptop. You survived. And in this game, survival is the first step to victory. But patience is only the defense. Now we need to talk about the enemy. The enemy is not the market. The market is neutral. The market is just a stream of data. The enemy is inside you. The enemy is your ego. There's a war going on inside your head every time you click buy. It is a war between your ego and your bank account. And here's the brutal truth. You can rarely satisfy both. The ego wants to be right. The ego says, I spent 3 hours analyzing this chart. I drew the lines perfectly. The price must go up. I'm not closing this losing trade because if it turns around 5 minutes later, I'll feel stupid. I need to make back what I lost yesterday to prove to my spouse that I'm good at this. This need to be right is the cancer that kills trading accounts. The market is a flow of orders. It is the collective psychology of millions of people and algorithms. It does not know you exist. It does not care about your trend lines. It does not care about your rent money. It is a force of nature, like the tide. You cannot scream at the tide to stop coming in. You have to move your chair. The mindset that turns $100 into $1 million is one of relentless adaptation. You must become fluid. You must be like water. A professional trader has zero emotional attachment to their prediction. If they buy and the market immediately changes structure and prove them wrong, they don't get angry. They don't pray. They don't bargain. They flip. They say, okay, the market is telling me I was wrong. The data has changed. I will cut my loss instantly. I will not argue with reality. To grow a small account, you must kill the part of you that needs to be the smartest person in the room. You have to stop trying to predict the future and start reacting to the present. You are not a prophet. You are a mercenary. You are here to follow the money, not to force your will upon the world. Drop the ego. Embrace the loss. A small loss is simply the cost of doing business. It's like paying the electric bill for your shop. But holding a losing trade because you refuse to admit you were wrong, that is not a business cost. That is the cost of bankruptcy. That is your ego burning your money to stay warm. So we have the patience of the lion, and we have the humility to kill the ego. Now we must master the environment. We must look at the mathematical reality of what we are doing. We need to talk about the casino model. Think about a casino. It is a temple of money. But who makes the money? The gamblers? Occasionally. Someone hits a jackpot and screams with joy. But over time, the gamblers always lose. The house? The house always wins. Why? Does the house cheat? No, the house simply plays the probabilities. The casino does not care about a single hand of blackjack. They don't sweat if a player wins $500 on one hand. They don't panic. Why? Because they know the math. They know that they have a 2% edge, and they know that over 1,000 hands or 10,000 hands, that 2% edge guarantees they will end up with all the money. The casino is emotionally detached. The gambler is an emotional wreck. The gambler is riding a dopamine roller coaster. When they win, they feel like a god. When they lose, they feel like a failure. They are addicted to the rush. If you are trading a $100 account, you are probably acting like the gambler. You feel a rush of adrenaline when you enter a trade. Your heart beats faster. You stare at the profit and loss number as it ticks up and down.
To become the millionaire, you must become the house. You must detach your happiness from the result of any single trade. This is the state of emotional neutrality. If you take a trade and it hits your take profit, you shouldn't feel excited. If you take a trade and it hits your stop loss, you shouldn't feel sad. You should feel bored. Successful trading is incredibly boring. It is repetitive. It is just executing a plan over and over again. If you are feeling a heart-pounding rush, it means you are risking too much or you don't have a plan. You need to judge your success differently. Most people judge their success by their P&L for the day. I made money, so I did good. I lost money, so I did bad. This is wrong. You can make money on a bad trade because you got lucky, and you can lose money on a good trade because the probability just didn't work out this time. You must judge yourself on your execution. Did you wait for the lion's setup? Did you risk the correct amount? Did you follow your exit rules? If you followed your rules and lost money, that was a good trade. If you broke your rules and made money, that was a bad trade. You have to rewire your brain to value discipline over dollars, because luck runs out, discipline compounds. And speaking of compounding, this is the final pillar. This is the magic that makes the $100 start possible. Human beings are terrible at understanding exponential growth. We think linearly. We think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Compounding is 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. When you are staring at your small account, you feel discouraged because the early steps of compounding feel insignificant. You make 5% on $100. It's $5. It feels pointless. You think, at this rate, I'll be rich in the year 3050. So you abandon the plan, you leverage up, and you blow the account. You have to trust the curve. The growth is slow, 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 and then suddenly it is vertical. If you can focus on the percentage, not the dollar amount, you unlock the code. If you can make consistent returns on $100, you can make them on $10,000. Investors don't look for cowboys who turn $100 into $1,000 in a day by gambling. They look for the steady hand who can grind out 3% or 5% consistently without drawing down the account. If you master the skill on the small account, the capital will find you. You can get funded. You can attract investors. But if you cannot handle the boredom of the small numbers, you will never see the big numbers. So how do we put this all together? How do we take this philosophy and turn it into action starting tomorrow morning? I am going to give you a challenge. I call it the 20-trade test. This is how you break the addiction to gambling. This is how you install the millionaire mindset. For your next 20 trades, I want you to forget about making money. Seriously, stop looking at the dollar amount. Your goal is simply to execute 20 trades perfectly according to your rules. Here are the rules for the test. You must identify your setup clearly before clicking. If it's not the lion setup, you don't click. You must risk a fixed, small percentage, no varying your risk based on how confident you feel.
You must accept the outcome without emotion. No revenge trading, no celebrating. Here is the kicker. If you break a rule even once, you have to reset the count to 0. If you make a trade out of boredom, reset to 0. If you move your stop loss because you're scared, reset to 0. If you take a winning trade that wasn't part of your plan, reset to 0. Your goal is to get 20 perfect executions in a row. Most of you will not be able to do this on the first try. You will get to trade number 8, get overconfident, break a rule, and have to start over. And that is okay. That is the learning process. But if you can complete this test, if you can string together 20 disciplined, patient, emotionless trades, you will be a different person at the end of it. You will have proven to yourself that you are in control. You will have proven that you can be the lion. You will have proven that you can be the house. Trading is the hardest way to make easy money. It is a mirror that reflects your deepest flaws. It shows you your greed, your fear, and your ego in high definition. But if you can master your mind, if you can conquer the urge to rush, and if you can treat that $100 seed with the respect it deserves, there is no limit to where you can go. Don't look at the mountain, just look at the next step. Be the lion, wait for your moment, and when it comes, strike without hesitation. Your journey from $100 to financial freedom doesn't start with a lucky trade. It starts with the decision to stop gambling and start acting like a professional. Make that decision today. The market will be there tomorrow. The question is, will you be ready for it?